Hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed the latest kid on the block, Phoenix Insurance. This show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA. And our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show. Indeed, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are live at Iron Port Ghana. Iron Port Ghana. We shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559019177. 0559019177. And when the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity, pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the project, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, you're welcome back. We're now going to take a look at some happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the weekend. Indeed, a network of professional women in the maritime and port sectors of West and Central Africa, that's an arm or women's wing, an arm of the Ports Management Association West and Central Africa, PIMOCA. They held their seminar here in Ghana. Ghana played host to them. That's Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. And the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Georgina Tokinu, Gertrude Tokinu, I beg your pardon, sent a representative who delivered a speech and entreated the women to make room to mentor younger ladies who are willing to join the maritime industry. Plus the fact that, yes, after the entire 3-day seminar, they came out with some recommendations. We have these stories for you. Let's enjoy them.
The Chief Justice of Ghana, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, has urged women in the maritime industry to provide opportunities for mentorship of younger women who have shown interest in taking up careers in the maritime and port sector. Speaking at a 3-day seminar by the Network for Professional Women in the Maritime and Port Sectors of West and Central Africa in Tema, the Chief Justice, in a speech read on her behalf by the Honorable Justice Sophia Rosetta Benasco Esa, Justice of the Court of Appeal, urged women in the maritime industry to maintain, sustain, and improve the momentum to have more women participate in the industry.
There is need to provide opportunities for mentorship of younger women who have and will show interest in taking up careers in the maritime and port sector. I therefore urge all to create room for younger ladies who will need support, guidance, and direction to climb the path of leadership.
She advised up-and-coming young ladies who are fortunate to be in the maritime industry to not relent in their quest to earn a place in the industry.
At all times in the journey, when you hit a snag, always remember the sisters and mothers in the industry who are on standby to show the way, guide, and lend support and direction so that the next generation can succeed.
The Deputy Minister for Transport, Frederick Obeng-Adom, said digitalization empowers ports to become smart ports, leveraging advanced analytics and data-driven insights to optimize operations.
The advent of digitization has propelled a new era of efficiency, security, and sustainability in port operations, thereby accelerating movement of goods and services with much efficiency and precision. Ports have traditionally been vital hubs of global trade, acting as gateways for goods to move efficiently between countries.
The Director General of GPHA, Michael Luguje, said ports, being crucial gateways for global trade, have a pivotal role to play in shaping a sustainable future for the planet. He said, as the world witnesses the growing awareness of environmental concerns and the urgent need for action, it becomes evident that ports must rise to the challenge and embrace sustainable practices in their operations.
We are expected to look at alternative sources of energy instead of fossil fuels. But you know, the ports are operating with machinery, using fuel. How do we transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy? Air, wind power, solar energy, and the rest. There are calls that the ports must do everything possible to move from diesel equipment to electric equipment. But even if we do that, what happens to the vehicles that come from the city into the port to load cargo? So it is a community responsibility. The ports can do our part, national governments will do their part, and we as individual citizens have to play our own role.
This year's seminar, which was hosted by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, was under the theme Ports Facing Challenges of Sustainable Development, Status and Prospects.
At the end of the fruitful discussions, the following recommendations were made. The seminar called on ports to take all necessary measures to decarbonize their activities by embracing new technologies. 2, we want to raise awareness among young girls about careers in marine science and technology. The ports are also being encouraged to fall on the port community to form foundations, create some foundations that will take care of CSR projects in the various ports communities. Thirdly, we want to talk more about the Pamwaka Training School or Training Center and develop training courses dedicated for women so that we follow the example of IPE in Le Havre. Then again, we want to dedicate a day to discuss the operation of local networks in our next meeting. When we get to meet in the year, we want to discuss, find time and discuss our local networks. And then finally, we want to encourage ourselves to develop the mentoring programs within our local networks. It was also highlighted by the Chief Justice during the opening ceremony of our seminar.
All right, so those were some happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. It's now time for us to take the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is turnaround time. Turnaround time.
Turnaround time refers to the time it takes between the arrival of a vessel and its departure from port, frequently used as a measure of port efficiency.
All right, so welcome back. We are now zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at how we can tackle fraudulent car purchasing schemes at the ports. And I am sure you would have come across maybe some people trying to convince you, trying to lure you into purchasing a vehicle at the port. They give you a very juicy offer, some plush car, some luxury car, they mention the price, and you think that this is too good to be true, but which is, actually a fraudulent scheme. It's a scheme that they run. They use pictures of organizations like the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Customs Division, GRA, and other prominent organizations, and use those images on social media to lure people and fleece them of their hard-earned cash. And so we deemed it necessary to assemble a team tonight to take a look at this particular, phenomenon that's gradually creeping into our industry and what we can do to stem the tide. And so tonight it gives me pleasure to introduce to us Colonel Benjamin Buama, who is the Port Security Manager, Port of Tema. Good evening, Colonel, and welcome. Yes, we're glad to have you, sir. We have Mr. Francis Van der Poy, a Senior Revenue Officer in charge of the KIA, Kotoka International Airport Car Park, National Vehicle Task Force. He's with the Customs Division, GRA. Welcome, sir, Mr. Buama. And then just close to me is Mr. Gilbert Banasen, Pobi, who is the Revenue Officer in charge of the Operations Department of the Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority. Indeed, we'll be privileged also to be joined by a victim of this particular scheme along the night, so he can share his story with us. We understand he's already online. I understand his name is Mr. Emmanuel Ango. Yes, Mr. Ango, good evening, if you can hear me.
Good evening, sir.
Absolutely, great. Good to have you. Good to have you tonight. So we can have a very beautiful discussion. Let me come to you, first of all, and find out whether it's come to your notice. Have you heard about such schemes in our ports, Mr.
It is for the prospective buyer to do a due diligence. In doing due diligence, you must be conversant with the procedure for disposal of vehicles, knowing what vehicles do actually qualify to be auctioned by customs. In due course, my colleague
will elaborate on that. Okay.
Will elaborate on the steps,
right?
The standard operating procedures. But for now, yes, we do receive from time to time a lot of people who actually have parted with monies.
Yes.
Have actually been swindled. So in the course of time, we are also going to tell out there to the public in the course of this program,
yes,
what vehicles do fall in place to be auctioned.
Right.
The do's and don'ts of prospective vehicle buyers.
Right. Okay, I'll come to Colonel and Mr. Barnes and Mr. Pobi in the studio, but let me go. I want us to hear the story of the victim so that when we're done with him, he can leave us to come in studio and have the discussion. Mr. Ango, good evening once again, and thank you so much. I just wanted to bring us up to speed with what your experience was when you encountered these unscrupulous people. How did you get to hear about them, and how did your transaction transpire when they approached you?
I want to thank you so much for this program. Actually, it is this eye on port actually that helped me. If not because of that, I would have fallen victim of it. So this guy actually published their cars on Facebook and their prices. So a friend brought my attention to it that there are some cars on Facebook that they've reduced their prices, and they name them overstay vehicles. And they leave their contact numbers there that you should call them. So I actually picked their contact. I called, and they asked me to WhatsApp them the type of car I want. The website they display is Ghana Cars. That is a name they display on Facebook. So Ghana Cars. So I actually WhatsApp him, and I sent him the car I want. So he responded to me and said, yes, the car is available. So he also, so actually, when you look at their, one thing that actually got me, I nearly go ahead to pay the money is that they are DP, WhatsApp DP. They are using the images of people in customs uniform at the port. So I was actually convinced. And when you call them, they talk to you nicely.
Wow.
So he told me, so when I sent him the car, I WhatsApp him the car, he told me that, okay, he wanted me to pay in, send in my Ghana card, send my Ghana card, then from there they will give me a number to pay in some half of the payment to that number. That is the only way they can reserve the vehicle for me. So I said, wow. And actually looking at how prices of cars are gone high now, I when I saw it, I thought it was genuine. I thought the guy is speaking the truth. So I was going to pay the money to him. Then quickly, my attention came into the gentleman I called, who is an eye on point, who actually drew my attention to the EP. Yes. So I called him and he told me that, no, Ima, don't make any payment. So it's fraud. And I said, wow. You said this is fraud? So he said, yes, it is actually fraud. So I shouldn't go ahead to make any payment. So I think that is what stopped me not to make any payment. So this is my experience so far. I had with them.
So what was your choice of car that you told them? How much were they offering it to you?
They have a lot of cars there. You have a CRV cars that is going about 50,000 Ghana cedis. You have these C-class Benz cars that are going for 43,000 Ghana cedis. Some are even in 30,000. So when the thing happened, I took my time to go to the site to view all the cars they listed there with their prices. And some are even cheaper than what I even saw. So that actually confirmed to me that, oh, okay, so this is actually fraud.
All right, so you are willing to pay how much? Which car did you vouch for? Which car did you say you wanted? And how much were they offering it to you?
That is CRV.
Okay.
And they are offering me 50,000. And they said it is over vehicle and it's available.
Yes.
So I even requested to come over and make payment to them, but they declined. They said if I want the car, let me go ahead and make the payment, that they can reserve it for me and they will call me to come and pick it up.
Which year model was it?
I think that's 2020.
2020, 50,000.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, what prompted you to seek advice from the Iron Port guy that you mentioned?
I used to watch the Iron Port program. So I think when they said I should pay in the half of the money before I came and pick the and bring the rest and take the car, that also prompted me to do more search on this thing before I fall a victim of it.
So if they had told you to go straight ahead and pay the 50,000 and come for your car, you would have done it. Well, they think they are smart, but they weren't smart enough. Right. So I just want you to maybe offer a piece of advice to some people who might perhaps try to fall victim to these people. You have suffered it, but you are lucky to have escaped.
I will advise that they take their time. Also, not to be in a hurry to purchase anything online, because I suspected a lot of people could fall a victim of this. I suspected a lot of people could fall a victim of this.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ango. We are deeply grateful to you for sharing your experience with us on Iron Port tonight. Emmanuel Ango is a victim of car fraud. Actually, he escaped narrowly. You know, he would have lost some 25,000 Ghana cedis. And if the people had even said he should pay up front like the 50,000, I'm sure he was willing to do so. But it's so outrageous that you find a 2020 CRV, it shouldn't cost anything less than 200,000 Ghana cedis in today's, And so if they are offering it to you for 50,000, clearly and straight away, you should, be worried that no, this one is not something that is genuine. You can't get it below 200,000. 2020 CRV, no, I don't think so. So let's come to the studios and let me come to Colonel Buama, who is the Port Security Manager at Port of Tema. Okay, that's the car. Okay, this was the car they were offering. Okay, and this one is even 34,000 on the CRV. Wow. Okay, let me come to Colonel Buama in the studios and find out from you whether you've heard about some of these schemes in the port, and you are in charge of, security at the Port of Tema. When you happen to hear some of these things, initially, what do you do?
For having us, and
yes, sir.
Good evening to your viewers.
Good evening, sir.
It's true, we've got a lot of reports about these fraudulent activities, and unfortunately, like my colleague said, by the time they report to us, they have already parted with money, and then it's increasing by the day. So it means that people are actually falling victim to that. What we do first is to try, because for us, we are intelligent based. So we want to find out what exactly happened, if maybe there are collaborators in the port that helped as far as these activities are concerned. Or that. Unfortunately, at some point, we even try to fake, bring some people in, our own colleagues, and also make some attempts to buy so that we can. But along the line, we come to a snag because it always has to do with the mode of payment and how we want to pay, so that we could track, and they know that. So when we get to that stage, then they reluctantly will say no.
So it means the transaction will proceed. And progress until it gets to where the payment is supposed to be made.
Where we could get evidence and also trace.
Yes,
that's where I think they are very smart. They know that where it's getting to, they could be tracked. So at that time, they declined that no, if you want to pay, then go through what they have prescribed for us to pay and all that. And so what we normally do, we work with the civil police because they are the agencies that have the capacity as far as tracking these people are concerned. And then we report the cases to them. And whilst we advise the victims to, and then we report to Eye on Port, particularly our marketing and public relations, that they should also be educating the public on suspecting these individuals so that they don't fall victim to this. And so basically this is what we have been doing. We hope that going forward, because from the stories that we are hearing, and the fact that people come all the way even to the port to come and show them vehicles, it presupposes that there are some people inside the port who are facilitating that. And that is where our focus is, trying to identify these people and then apply if it's a criminal offense, we report to the police. If it's a misdemeanor, then we deal with it with our own sanctions.
You know, most of the time when issues crop up, everybody thinks that, okay, it's the port, but people fail to appreciate the fact that there are a lot of agencies working in the port, a lot of agencies. And so people begin to point accusing fingers at GPHA staff, they point accusing of, but there are a gamut of agencies working in the port. And so even the freight forwarders and clearing agents, I mean, all these people are there. And so sometimes we just need to get the public to appreciate the fact that when you say the port, yes, the port is there, but we have a lot of agencies and people, stakeholders, port users in there. And so some of these things are likely to crop up. Let me come to Mr. Pobi and find out from you what steps you have taken to ensure that you nip some of these things in the bud.
Thank you.
If you can draw your mic a bit close, yes.
We are in collaboration with other sister security agencies to nip these criminals who seek to impersonate custom officers in their schemes. And we also want to use this your platform to sensitize the general public that custom stations are dotted across the country. And so as regards custom auctions, please do consult. It's unfortunate that you only have them coming to our offices after they have been duped. And so I want to use this your platform to sensitize the general public that custom auctions usually go on and it's public. There's a platform where you go as a Ghanaian, you register, and then you are noted when you win. And so we have reported these incidents to the Cyber Crime Unit of the Ghana Police, and also the Cyber Security Authority are aware of this. And so we hope that soon, with the intel we have gotten, we'll be able to apprehend these criminals.
So you just mentioned that you've had occasion where people fall victim, they get duped before they come to report to you. What's the magnanimity, the nature of these amounts that they lose, to these people? Have they mentioned figures when they come to make their report?
Yeah,
Definitely they should mention figures.
There was a gentleman who came to the office, that was just last 2 weeks, and then he was due a sum of 20,000.
20,000.
So the very first thing they told him to do was to register. So he said, with the registration, he had to send a memo of 3,500. And after that, he had to see someone who would take him to the port.
Right.
The person took him to the port to show him a vehicle, and he showed interest, and the person asked him to pay another amount of money, which he did. And then afterwards, he tried contacting them, and then there was nowhere to be found. But from the information we got from the one who came to report, as Colonel said, there are people within the port who also assist these criminals in their operation.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So I know right now you have this e-auction platform in the ICOMS system.
Sure.
Yes, and it's something that you should be promoting just so we are able to avoid some of these fraudulent schemes. How are you going to be able to educate and sensitize the general public to have faith and confidence in the new system that you have rolled out, the new that's an e-auction platform that's on
so the e-auction was piloted last year in October, which was successful.
Yes.
And after the piloting, we had 3 sessions that were successful. The last e-auction session was held on the 31st of May, which was very okay. And so I think that a lot of the general public don't come to us. When it comes to custom information, there's that kind of information asymmetry, where people get a lot of misinformation about customs. And so It's only when unfortunately happens that we are contacted. And so we would like to urge the general public that anytime you want to deal with customs, even before you think about importing a vehicle or whatsoever, at least seek customs information.
Right.
Our customer experience units are always there 24/7 to assist persons who would like to know more about our custom operations.
Well, I think that the time has come for maybe customs or GRA to let the generality of the Ghanaian people know that now you don't do manual auctions. You don't do auctions,
Sure.
in the open space. It's strictly perhaps online. And so if anybody, it's quite unfortunate that these fraudsters, is quite unfortunate that some of these fraudsters would tell you to pay online. And so they also have that small bit, of online transactions or e-transactions in there. But I think that, like you rightly said, they should contact customs and then be able to deal with them and ascertain the genuineness of what they are going into before they are able to. So once they understand that, yes, it's strictly online and that nobody should be in the port or any area within the port vicinity and be selling cars, that one should be a no-no.
Yeah, so if you permit me, I would like to educate the public on the platform that Ghana Custom uses in its auctions.
Right.
So it is auction.icoms.gov.gh.
Okay.
ICOMS, ICUMS.
Yes.
This is the only platform that is authorized to auction vehicles to the public.
Right.
That is as regards custom operation. And with this platform, all you need to do is to request for an account. And you have to register with your Ghana card.
Right.
So you input your Ghana card detail, you search, and automatically the system will populate your name, your address, your GPS address, and they would ask you your preferred means of communication, be it text or... Yes. Yeah, so you go on the platform, you register with your Ghana card, it populates automatically your details.
Yes.
And then there's a security question that you need to answer.
Yes.
Then you are asked your favorite, your preferred means of communication.
Okay.
Via SMS or text.
Okay.
After that, you just apply.
Okay.
And then a mail will be sent to you automatically in your preferred means of communication.
Yes.
And then you have your login details.
Okay.
So as and when cars are ready to go on auction, you are notified.
Right.
And it's an open bid process. So it is very transparent.
Yeah.
And we rolled out this so that the general public would have access. As well, the public auction, we hold it at various custom stations.
Yes.
But with this, it is nationwide. Wherever you are, once you are registered, you can go on and bid. And when you win, you don't need to make any payment to anybody. Automatically, the system will send you your tax bill.
Right.
So you go to the station where the car is located,
Well,
you
for
inspect it,
inspection, yeah.
and then with your tax bill, you make payments, and then the clearance process also start from there.
Okay. All right, let me come to Mr. Van der Poy and find out from you. I know there are customs officers stationed at the various terminals, the car parks. And I just want to, can you walk us through what the process is when a vehicle comes to the car park? Let's say the overstayed vehicle. Is it possible for people to be able to move some of these cars without, the express permission of officers stationed there to take charge of these cars?
So my answer to this is no. But maybe before I elaborate, can I give a background of
Please do.
the vehicles that are deemed to be
Overstayed, yes.
or are held,
yes,
and then may eventually go on
auction, yes.
So these are vehicles that have contravened one law or the other as far as the Customs Act
is concerned, yeah.
2015, which is Act 891, is concerned. So some of these are vehicles that are uncustomed.
Right.
Most of them come through unapproved routes, and they use them here
to circumvent the system, yeah.
Now, the Act also says that when a vehicle is brought into the country, either through the ports, so when finally it is discharged, or when the date that it crosses the land border into Ghana, 60 days after that, if the importer fails to enter and actually pay for the vehicles, then they go overstayed.
Right.
If eventually you don't come for it, a notice will be served through the publication of the Commercial and Industrial Bulletin, what we call the Gazette.
Yes.
That there is an intention to dispose of these goods, in this case, the vehicles. So the notice has gone.
Yeah.
If you are still interested, there are processes that you can carry on, you the importer, to try to redeem your vehicle.
Okay.
But failure to do that, then these vehicles are now ready to be auctioned. Now, whilst they are in the holding area, be it the ports or the various car parks, these vehicles have been documented. And for each vehicle to leave the holding place, there are standard operating procedures.
Yes.
And so any custom officer stationed at such a place should ordinarily follow these procedures. So the vehicles are overaged, duties have been paid, there is evidence of duty having been paid, and authority is given for the officers at the holding point to release the particular vehicle.
Right.
So these will go through. Now, usually this is for the port, but for the car parks other than the ports, if duties have been paid, a letter authorizing the release, just like this, will be given out.
Yeah.
If it has gone on auction and the one who won the bid has made good the payment, there should be proof
of payment,
of payment before. Anything short of that, the vehicle is not supposed to leave the port or the holding area.
Right.
That is the procedure.
Okay. Let me come to Colonel Boama. You rightly alluded to the fact that, yes, some of the victims have access to these car terminals, which means that they are collaborators in there. How are we going to be able to strengthen security at these car terminals to avoid or to prevent some of these people who maybe we can say are unauthorized, to get in there? It's also possible that we may have people who are authorized to have access to these terminals perpetrating some of these things. I mean, just playing the devil's advocate. But how can we strengthen security within the terminals to avoid some of these things?
To start with, I would like to say that the cases that have been reported to us, is only one that said that they brought her to the car park.
Okay.
And then the guy said, before you enter the port, you're supposed to wear fragmentation jacket.
Absolutely, yes.
Reflectors.
Yes.
So he said he was going to buy reflector for her. And then when he asked the lady to get out to buy the thing from then he took off. So they didn't even enter the perimeter of the terminal itself, but at the entrance. However, if it is true that we have some collaborated inside who are people, and it's possible that they may be agents, because our preliminary investigations show that there are some people who come in and it's allowed. Like if an agent is coming and says, an importer who imported this particular good, they are allowed to come in with the importer.
Yes.
But the agent is somebody who has been satisfied with us. We have their ID, we've checked their everything, and we think that the information we have, they are credible to conduct legitimate business at the port. Unfortunately, if he goes to the security guard at the gate and so this is an importer, there's no facility for us to check that aspect of the story that he's giving us.
Yeah.
And so probably that's where the loophole is.
Right.
And we need to tackle that. However, we want to also educate the general public. If it's possible, as they are dealing with you, if you can get a picture or so, because everybody that is operating in the port, we have their data.
Right.
So once we get that picture, it will be able for us to start off the investigation,
right.
At least identify somebody who, or putting a face behind the story.
Scheme, yeah, sure.
Yeah. The other issue is that we think that we also need to, so as we speak, we have almost about 350 something cameras at the port.
Yeah, sure.
But we think that there are some strategic locations that we still need to reinforce. Because when we did some vulnerability studies, we saw that there are places that we need to reinforce as far as these cameras are concerned. And that will aid us a lot, because when he comes to tell us, we stood at this place, we could zoom in to date and time, be able to know when the person was there, and if we identified the fellow there, that will be a start-off point for us. And so that is something that the authority, I'm talking about management, is taking it up, making sure that we add more cameras. And that when that project is completed, we think that, and additionally to, we're also reinforcing our personnel.
Yes.
Our numbers have gone down a bit, but we are reinforcing them. We are doing some recruitment. Some of them also going training and other things. And so when we put it all together in collaboration with our other state agencies that are within the port,
right,
I think that the most important thing here is getting the intelligence right.
Right.
Because when we get the intelligence right, then we can solve the problem. So our focus will be getting the intelligence, trying to make sure that we stop them even before they succeed. And that is what we are up to.
Right.
And so we hope that we have a very good collaboration with our state agencies. I'm talking about the Custom Division, NGRA, I'm talking about Marine Police, NIB, and all those people. So together, we think we'll be able to solve this problem.
Right.
Or minimize it to the barest minimum that we can.
That was going to be my next question, the nature of security in the port of Tema. But I just mentioned the fact that we have a heavy penetration of cameras there. Intention is to add more. You also indicated the fact that, yes, plans are afoot to recruit more personnel because the numbers have gone down a bit and all that. Can you just, in sum, tell us what you would say our security situation is in the port? Top-notch?
It's top-notch. I think the studies are clear. I think the sub-region in West Africa, our port is one of the safest. And it's the more reason why they come to do business, because there are other ports that have opened of late. But what we take advantage of is this environment, the safe environment that businesses are conducted at the port. Even though sometimes that one I cannot go into it, but the instances that we've got stories from agents, they say that our charges are high. I don't know that is true. But I think one of the things that they say they like doing business at the port is basically because of the security at the port. Of course, we cannot say that because of that we'll fold our arms and relax.
Absolutely.
We still want to improve upon, because there are areas that we think that it needs improvement.
Right.
And we are working at it. And we believe that because security is because the people who are also perpetrating will all study your system, and where they find loopholes, they will exploit.
Right.
So every time you need to be a step ahead of them.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we are doing.
Great. Mr. Pobi, we have identified some of these websites that are being used to perpetrate some of these illegalities. I'm sure they've been brought to your notice. Are you willing to take any action to get to the bottom, to get to the faces behind these websites, and to perhaps, ensure some prosecution? Or
sure.
We just
we personally made certain calls to the numbers that were displayed on the CARS 24. And as I earlier indicated, we are in talks with the Ghana cybercrime unit of the Ghana Police to apprehend these persons.
Right.
And so definitely they will be brought to book, because they are impersonating officers. And one of their modus operandi is that they go onto social media sites and get pictures of officers and use it as they are those who are, auctioning the vehicles. But that is not the case.
Right.
And because it's a matter of investigation, it's not advisable to put certain information in public. But surely, very soon, we will come up with this.
I know that one of the duties of the cybersecurity people is to ensure that they block some of these things from actually happening. So, for example, if they identify a website that is, a fraudulent one, and that they think that is used to perpetrate illegalities, they probably have a way of, blocking the site and getting them to and preventing them from operating. And so, where you've reached, is it not time? Because as we speak now, there probably are some bad people out there who are at it, trying to circumvent the system and beat people, like fleece them of their money. So isn't it possible for you to talk with the cybersecurity people for them to block some of these websites that you have identified as fraudulent websites?
Because
rather than waiting for people to get fleeced of their cash or to fall victim before you step in.
You see, the blocking is not done by Ghana Customs. It is their work.
Yes.
And because we are also in collaboration with the police, I think that they are best at what they do.
Right.
So I think they can speak to reasons why they are still not blocked. But they are well informed. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Vanderpoy, let me find out from you. Can we confidently say that 100% customs does not do auctions publicly again, apart from the e-auction that we do? 100% public auctions.
Yes, I would say so. Because like Mr. Pobi rightly said, we've done, is it the fourth? Which have all been successful, transparent, and it looks good for participants.
Right.
And there is some ease. And so, yes, that is what it is for now.
I know you conduct some of these auctions at your regional commands as well. Have they gone E? Because I know you mentioned the fact that the pilot for the e-auction was done in October last year.
Yes.
Yes. And have you covered the entire country, or there are still some places where you do the auctions publicly?
So the next e-auction is slated for July 31st. And we are bringing on Takrade and KIA collections onto the platform.
Yes.
So we started with Tema. We are now expanding to Takrade and KIA. So the next e-auction will be held on the 31st of July. That's on Monday.
Right. 31st of July?
Yes,
this
month.
is coming
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
31st of July.
Okay. Tomorrow is Monday, so the following, the other one, yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Okay, yes. All right. Okay, so let me come
If you permit me, I wanted to add to what my senior man said. As regards vehicles that are uncustomed and overstayed.
Yes.
So by Act 891, Section 59, it is just very clear on what an overstayed vehicle is. So a vehicle is said to be overstayed if after 60 days after the discharge of the vehicle in our ports, the vehicle is not entered and cleared. That vehicle is deemed to overstay.
Right.
And so with our customs system, it is so easy and user-friendly. You don't need to wait until the vehicle docks in our ports before you enter it for clearance. And if for any reasons you have certain challenges, you can write to the commissioner for want of time. But it's unfortunate that some of these vehicles stay in the ports, some over a year. We don't know those who bring these vehicles. And so when the time is due, we send them by notice in the public gazette. So after this gazette, it's 14 days after the gazette before we can go ahead and auction them. So every means available to customs is used and employed in helping people to know about the time when their goods that have overstayed.
Yes.
That is 60 days after the vessel berth. But we want to send this notice to the general public that the information is clear. You don't need to wait for your goods to dock at the port before you come to customs. Once you have your bill of lading, your invoice, your packing list, contact a certified custom agent to put in a declaration for you. You can even go ahead and make payments. So once the vessel berth, within 7 days, you can clear your goods out of the port without any challenge.
Okay. All right. Let me come to Colonel Boama and find out from you what the nature of your collaboration with other stakeholders is in your quest to stem this tide, to fight this particular menace of fraudulent car purchasing schemes in our ports.
Like I indicated to you, we have a very good collaboration with the Marine Police Port.
Yes.
And Custom Division and GRA.
Yes.
And so for us, when the issues are reported to us, first we try to do some preliminary investigations to establish whether the story is even true. There's any prima facie grounds on that. And once it's established that indeed the person has been duped, I want to find out how it was and what needs to be done. And unfortunately, sometimes the information they give us very scanty. And so you can't do anything with that information because you only have a phone number. And the phone number, sometimes you call and it's not even going through. As soon as they take the money, they block.
Yes.
So they don't even give you any description. No, Ghanaians are very bad at describing people.
Yes.
So sometimes they don't even give description.
Right.
That you can even put some pictorial design and follow it up.
Yes.
So that becomes very difficult for us. But however, where they report to us, because the police also operate with us at the port, we quickly report to them based on what we have gathered.
Right.
And then we do a follow-up. and we asked the victim to go to the police because at that stage it's a criminal matter, and therefore they have the capacity to deal with that.
Right.
So what we are doing at this stage is advocacy, making sure that we bring this into the limelight. And part of the people to do that is our public relations department, which we have made strong recommendations to them that this thing needs to be publicized because they are denting the image of the port. It's a business decision center, and if people come and they are duped, and the story goes out there, it's not good for our image.
Absolutely.
And so for us, we have a stake interest in that to ensure that these things is nib in the bag.
Right.
And to do that is to let the public know that these things are fraudulent.
Right.
Because, like you rightly said, it's too good to be true.
Yes.
For the prices that they are giving and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, what we advise that as early as possible, they can check on us.
Yeah.
And then get to the tail end of the program. We'll put our numbers out there. I remember an officer called me.
Yes.
And cases like that. As soon as I saw it, I asked them to investigate, and we came out that it was fraud. So I called him, and then he stopped.
Yes.
So things like that can be done. But like we all agree to, they wait until they are duped.
Yes.
Before they come and do this, like putting the cart before the horse.
Right.
And I think that's what our public should know.
Absolutely.
So that immediately when they see something like that, they should call, and then we'll give them the appropriate information for them to act upon.
Absolutely. There's this story about a victim who reported to one of the agencies for something to be done and was told to pay some money so that they could track the victim. And the fellow ended up losing the money he paid for the tracking victim too. So kind of a complex web, that kind of thing.
Quite unfortunate.
Yes.
But as you are aware, fighting crime is a collective effort.
Absolutely.
So indulge the general public, those who have been due by these persons to give us information. Yes, to just give us information because we need them to accost these persons.
Yes.
We can't fight it alone.
You know, sometimes some of the victims are also afraid to come out because they are so ashamed to come out because you think that there are people call them greedy people because you know that this thing that you're going in for is too good to be true. Yet you decide to go in for it, and so I don't know. When you are duped, the fellow feels like, oh, if I go, I mean, there will be some backlash on me and all that. Yes.
But I also want to say this, as Colonel and my colleague said. All the stakeholders involved, customs, GAPOA, NIB, Ghana Police, and we are collaborating and closing in on these perpetrators. Now, if they are listening, what I am putting out to them is that the Customs Act, Act 891, the Customs Act 2015, 891, 133A says that anyone who impersonates a customs officer and on conviction will suffer a fine of up to 2,500 penalty units.
A penalty unit is 12 cedis, yes. Yeah, sure.
Or 5 years, or both. That is impersonating.
Yes.
Then the B says that anyone found to be, by this case, in this situation, anyone who is not a customs officer, found to be in possession of anything customs, uniform, flags, pendants, what have you, commits an offense and on summary conviction may be fined up to 250 250 penalty units or 2 years or both.
Yes.
And so this is a caution. All the stakeholders are working tirelessly to rope in these people. If you find yourself on the wrong side of the law, these are the possible penalties you may suffer.
Right. Great. All right, so this is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at how to prevent fraudulent car purchasing schemes at the ports. We have three able gentlemen in the studios doing the discussion tonight. We have Colonel Benjamin Buama, who is the port security manager for the port of Tema. We have Mr. Gilbert Banasin-Pobi, Revenue Officer, Operations Department, Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority, and we also have Mr. Francis Vanderpoy, who is a Senior Revenue Officer and Officer in charge of the Kotoka International Airport Car Park and the National Vehicle Task Force, also Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority. These are the three gentlemen we're doing the discussion with. We also had Emmanuel Ango, who is a victim, share his experience with us. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, finimetangu mama wati. Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fuel up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mami.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. My goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. We are continuing with the discussion. Remember, we're discussing how to prevent or tackle fraudulent car purchasing schemes at the ports. And we have with us in the studios tonight Colonel Benjamin Buama, who is the Port Security Manager, Port of Tema. We also have in the studios tonight Mr. Gilbert Banasimpobi, Revenue Officer, Operations Department, Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority, and indeed Mr. Francis Vanderpoy, Senior Revenue Officer and Officer in charge the KIA car park, and of course, Vehicle Task Force, Customs Division, also GRA. There are those we're having a discussion. Remember, I told you we spoke to one Mr. Emmanuel Ango, who shared his story with us. He is a victim. In fact, he nearly lost his money, but for the intervention of the Iron Port unit, he would have lost it. In fact, we had stories of lawyers, doctors, teachers, nurses. I mean, all manner of professionals losing. They even actually fall victim because they lose their monies to some of these schemes. So you can imagine the sophisticated way or approach they use, in their business, in their dealings with some of these people. Well, the production team has given me the green light to activate the phone lines for you to call in, and the number to dial is 020-552-8353. It's right on your screen, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Now, let me come to Mr. Pobi and ask you why the Ghana Revenue Authority, or GRA, or Customs, so to speak, auctions goods. Is it for purposes of raising revenue? Is it because you want to decongest maybe not just the ports, but your warehouses and all that?
Section 126 is clear on how goods are supposed to be disposed via auction. And so as a revenue agency and a security agency, we also owe it to government to collect revenue on these goods.
Right.
Some of the goods that come to us are perishable in nature.
Right.
That without being kept under special conditions, they can go waste. And so to avert wastage, we try to auction these goods to raise revenue. So one of the reasons why we auction goods is to raise revenue. Another reason is that the port is not a storage space.
Yes.
So the act is clear.
Yes.
And we have made available systems to cater for everybody who wants to do business with us.
Okay, who has to do business with us? Please hold your fire. Let's go online and welcome Abba Roxin, who's calling us from Tema, onto the show. Good evening.
Good evening. That's Baba Roxanne.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Please shoot.
Yes. I want to also add up to the discussion.
Yes, please.
I want the general public to also take, whenever they hear people advertising or saying that there are auctions going on, they should find out, because I think the security office is open for any inquiries, so that they wouldn't find themselves being duped or whatsoever. So they should always try to inquire before they take any move. That's what I want to add up.
Thank you very much, Baba. We are deeply grateful to you for your call. Remember, you can also call. The number to dial is 020-552-8353. Yes, Mr. Pobi.
Yeah, so one of the reasons why because these goods have our revenues locked up, and we cannot allow those goods to sit in the ports when we have targets to meet.
Right.
So one of the reasons is for revenue. And another reason is that the port is not a storage place.
Right.
If for a reason you cannot clear your goods, we have made available warehousing regime where you can clear the goods, keep it in a warehouse until a time where you find it favorable. You pay the duty as and when you ex-warehouse. So because of that availability, we don't expect people to keep their goods in our ports.
Right.
Warehouse it if you are not ready, or you don't have the funds available to clear, or you've not found markets for your goods. Warehouse it. So one of the reasons also is to decongest the ports.
Yes.
And also to serve as a deterrent to people.
Yes.
That please don't come dump your goods. Because some of these goods are dangerous.
Yes.
You don't know their contents.
Yes.
So as a matter of security, we need to deal with these goods by disposing them of.
Right.
So for revenue reasons, to decongest the ports and to serve as a deterrent.
Absolutely. Great. Let's welcome Thomas, who is calling us all the way from Winnipeg. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes. Good to have you. Please shoot.
Okay. I want to add up to what the colonel and then the senior officers are talking about.
Yes, sir.
You see, the public are supposed to be sensitized much on this kind of goods that are being auctioned, right? Because most of them follow what is being posted on social media, Twitter, and then especially Facebook. So if the customs and then the Gapoha people would put in much effort so that the public will know the kind and then the time, as in when and how the goods are being auctioned. Because you earlier stated that the goods will be auctioned on the 31st of July. So the public has to be educated much. So I think when this is being done, it will curtail the rate at which people are being defrauded and other stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Thomas from Winneba. We're deeply grateful to you for your call. You can also call. Now, if you are somebody that has fallen victim to these activities, please don't be shy to share your experience with us. You can also call and share your story with us so that it will serve as, some kind of guide for people who may want to, fall victim, or who may be, fall victim to some of these fraudulent activities. The number to dial is right there on your screen. Yes. You mentioned the fact that there's customs embarks on these auctions for revenue, for decongesting the port, and also to serve as deterrent. That's three key things.
Yes.
Awesome. Wonderful. So let me come to Colonel. Whilst we are waiting for the next caller, what advice you would give to people who undertake some of these activities? You're on their heels. Most of the time, they think that they are a step ahead of you, but you are planning to come and overtake them and then nip them in the bud. But before you come in, let's go to Tema and welcome Edwin, whom I'm told is on the line. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
My name is Edwin.
Yes.
Yes, I am a clearing agent.
You are a clearing agent. Okay, great.
Yes, please. I want to ask Mr. Bobby a question. Actually, my car has overstayed at the port. Okay, so the cars are two. When we applied for restoration, we were told that the car has been auctioned, so they cannot give it to us. So we pleaded, and they've given us one. Over 2 months or 3 months, the vehicle that has been auctioned is still at the port. So are we still entitled for it, or it's going to a new person?
You had a vehicle a vehicle at the port which had overstayed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And when you went for it, they said it had been auctioned.
Yes.
Was it one vehicle or how many vehicles? Just one?
It was two, and they restored one to me.
And they restored one?
Yes.
And still, you haven't been able to clear that one from the port?
No, I for that one I've taken it, but the other one is still there. But I was told by custom that it has been auctioned.
It's been auctioned?
But the car is still sitting at the port now.
Okay.
So
all right.
Am I still entitled to it?
Okay. Mr. Bobby and then Mr. Van der Poel may try to proffer some yes.
Vehicles where they all applied for restoration. That he got one and one was.
Okay. All right. So if you can, Edwin, if you can, if you're still on the line, or if you can call back and let us know, that's the information Mr. Pobi is looking
I will need
for.
To clarify
whether you applied for the restoration of the two cars or it was just one that you applied for.
Okay. So, Mr. Mona, the auction process goes through these processes. For instance, cars that are profiled. Okay. Some of them we know the owners.
Yes.
Contact them.
Yes.
Others we don't. So once we publish them in the commercial and industrial bulletin, we expect that people who own these vehicles will come forward and clear these vehicles. Okay. So I'm tempted to think that the one that was made available to him hadn't gone through gazetting.
Yes.
Because we can only dispose of goods via auction when we have gazetted them.
Yeah, sure.
And after the commercial industrial bulletin is out, it takes 14 days after the gazette. So once we have notified you in the public gazette, you have that ample period to come to us. However, there are instances where, at the discretion of the Commissioner General, people are allowed to clear their goods after the gazette. So I would indulge this person to apply to the Commissioner General for restoration.
I'll come back to you and find out from you, because the guy says the car is still sitting on the port. He has seen it, but he's been told it's been auctioned. Maybe the new fellow that bought it has not been able to take it out of the port yet. But let's welcome Dako Brown, who is calling us all the way from Oda Shaumang here in Accra. Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
I want to make a suggestion.
Yes.
And my issue is with those allocations that are made. There are times that we have one or two people, when they are allocated vehicles, they delay in making payment within the 14 days. So it can happen that as they go around looking for money to make payment, then we can have one or two people who come in that they are interested. So what I want to say is that if it happens that there is any fraudulent deal and there is an allocation slip that has been applied or used in the in the perpetration of the fraud,
Right.
I would suggest that that person who was given the allocation slip should also be held responsible.
Are you a customs officer, Mr.
I'm
Brown?
a former customs officer. I'm a former customs officer.
A former customs officer?
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. We're deeply grateful to you for sharing your insights with us. Yes.
On the second question the gentleman asked, so by the Section 59,
yes,
we expect that people who do business with us, once the vehicles come, they enter them and clear.
Right.
Okay. Once duty has been paid on a vehicle, what it means is that the taxes due the state have already been collected.
Yes.
And for such goods, we cannot auction them.
Right.
So I'm tempted to believe that probably for that particular vehicle you have there, the duty and tax has been paid. So what is left is with other terminal charges.
Freight charges.
So what the state wants to collect from that vehicle as regards custom, that is a custom duty, it might be paid.
Right.
So once the custom duty is paid, unfortunately that vehicle cannot be restored to the person.
Right. Okay. Let's welcome Clifford, who is calling us from Pillar 2. Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Clifford.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
If my car is at the port, and maybe it's overstayed the time there, and there's an auction, why is it that I, the person who brought the car, is not given an offer to see if I can still buy it, and if I'm not, then it can be sold?
Okay. All right. You're talking about the principle of, you guys call it first offer? Yes. Okay, so sometimes right here, what I will say is that if that happens, it means that everybody will bring the car and deliberately wait for the car to overstay so that the fellow go and...
Exactly as the point I indicated, that
sure.
it is to serve as a deterrent.
Yes.
We have given you ample time.
Yeah.
Within ways to clear.
Yes.
Some people leave these vehicles there over years.
Yes.
And the vehicles are rusting. And once it goes under that, we have to sell on as-is basis, we lose revenue.
Yes.
So we don't want to wait until a time then we have lost revenue before we want to salvage the revenue.
Yeah.
So we indulge people that don't wait until a time when we have processed these vehicles to dispose them off.
And also, the Customs Act is explicit on how these vehicles are supposed to be handled.
Right.
So, like you rightly said, some people may want to bring the car, pretend they cannot offer, having
duty,
it at the back of their minds that auction cars go for less what ordinarily they have to pay.
Absolutely.
And so, fine, if you are still interested in your car,
why
wait for auction?
Yes.
When even after it has been gazetted, you still have some 14 days to make good.
Absolutely, the payment,
We don't want any short change, whether to government or to the importers.
Yes. All right, let's go to Tema again and welcome Albert on the line. He's going to be our last caller. We cannot pick any more calls right after Albert. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, please speak up a bit, sir.
Okay, my name is Albert. I'm calling from Tema.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask the custom officers. Yeah, good evening. Yeah.
They can hear you,
Yeah,
sure.
good evening.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask the custom officers that when I buy a car from America and then the shipping line is going to charge me like 3,000 Ghana cedis, dollar equivalent, and then they bring the car to Ghana, and then GPHA is in charge of the port. So the vessel that brings my car is taking 3,000 for the freight. And then the GPHA is just managing the sea. The ship comes to berth, and then they discharge my car. So why do I pay duty more than the ship that brought my car? I just don't understand, because it is the sea. The ship will come and berth, and then they will just take the car out. So why do I pay this huge amount of taxes on the car? I just don't get it. Because GPHA, they don't produce, they don't do anything. It is just the sea. And then you bring a car, you buy the car like $4,000 equivalent, and then the ship will bring it as well, and then you come here and then you'll be asked to pay 80,000, 70,000. I just don't get it. If they can explain it to me.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
first of all, GPHA, we do handling. And so if you say GPHA doesn't do anything, in the first place, you are wrong, outrightly. You are wrong. GPHA does handling and other, stevedores and all that. So, but, yes.
The name is Isaac, right?
No, he's Albert.
Albert.
Yes.
Okay, so Albert, please, back to the Customs Act, Act 891, 2015. In the section 60, the method for calculation of used vehicles is spelled out, or vehicles is spelled out. It is not as if Customs just out of the blue gives any figures. If time will allow me, I'll quickly...
Just quickly, yes.
Quick. So,
time is running out.
So 61 says, despite the provision of any other enactment, the section applies in determining for customs purposes the value of a used motor vehicle imported under the Act. So where the age of a used vehicle is less than 6 months, the value is deemed to be 100%. Where it is a little over it is 6 months, over 6 months to 1.5 years, 85% of the initial value by the manufacturer will be used. On and on till when it gets to 5 years, where 50% depreciation takes place. And then the method is there. When you entered for payment or assessment, the rate of exchange and everything is there. So the method of calculating duties on vehicles is not random. It's not at the discretion of any custom officer, not even the commissioner or the commissioner general, but the method is clearly spelled out. So please, if you will need more education, customs doors are always open. Please contact us. You or any other importer, prospective importer, can equally contact customs where you have a vehicle in question you want to import. Our doors are open. Come with the details. Say Toyota Corolla S, saloon car. The chassis number is this, HCC. So we know it's coming from Japan, it's coming from Canada, US, and then we give you a fair idea, an approximate idea of how much you have to pay, so that you get acquainted with what you may pay before you do the importation. Thank you.
Just briefly.
Okay, so there's this misconception about how much someone purchased a vehicle and the taxes that the person is supposed to pay. So it is not about how much you bought it, especially with second-hand vehicles. So for instance, if a vehicle is gifted to you, does that mean that you don't pay duty? You surely will. Yeah. So our means of calculating duties is on value. So for a vehicle, is the first purchase price. Yes. The manufacturer who manufactured the vehicle came out with a particular value. Right, yeah. That's for this vehicle, this is how much it's going for. At the time of and so then, just as my senior man said, we depreciate it according to the number of years that the vehicle has spent. Yes. So when it comes to calculating of duties on vehicles, it's just not only on the value, the cubic capacity of the vehicle matters, the special feature on the vehicle, the type of vehicle. A lot of things go into...
a special feature, that means that's SE, for instance, CE, all those.
Yes, yes. So, for instance, when it comes to, let's say, Mercedes-Benz, you have Formatic, you have CLA. So all those features come into the value chain. Okay. So it's not just about how much you purchased it, but the original manufacturer, the price that was put on the vehicle. Okay. Then we would either depreciate it based upon the number of years it has stayed, and then also the rate comes in. If it is up to a certain cubic capacity, it attracts a particular age. Right. If it is diesel or if it is a hybrid vehicle, it also attracts a particular rate. So it comes to the rates and then the value.
Absolutely.
So I think that a lot of education has to go on as regards the value.
I'll come to you, Colonel. I'll take these messages and come to you so that you tell us what you're doing to stay ahead, a step ahead of these people, and whether the GPH actually operates a Momo account number in the port, because all these people say you should pay into a Momo with this. And then you also let us have that number that you mentioned so that people can call in when they, suspect something fishy in terms of some of these dealings. This one says, hi. The term overstayed used by fraudsters indicate that they are on top of what they are doing. Most overstayed vehicles go for auction. Auction vehicles are mostly sold at ridiculously low prices, hence the prices quoted by the fraudsters seem to be attractive to victims. This is why most victims fall prey to them. This one is from Eric. This one says, hi, I'm watching you live on TV. Why is it necessary to have an agent clear goods for clients? Why can't one clear his or her goods? Well, if we all want to clear our goods, it means that the port will be choked. And there'll be chaos in the port. So that's why they've made provision, licensed people to come and then do that on your behalf. And so I think basically that's what I would say. Am I right, customs officers?
Allows people to clear their own. Yes, self-declarant. Yes. So that is also available. Okay. When it is your own, you can clear.
You can clear. Yes. When it's your own. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you have it. There's an amendment, and so you can go and then self-declare.
But on
says, good evening. Can you please repeat the e-auction website again? This one is from Foster.
So it is auction.icums.gov.gh.
Right. Okay.
So auction.icums.gov.gh.
All right. So let's take your listening finally, Colonel. We have barely 1 minute to wrap up. Yes. Whether we operate a Momo account number in the port, and you also put out your number where people can call.
I think GPHA does not operate Momo account. Neither do we auction vehicles. There are agencies that do that. However, our doors are open. Like I said, anytime they call on us, we'll be able to clarify whether there's something going on or not. It's very easy for us to check with our counterparts. Absolutely. And we'll provide appropriate information for them to be able to respond to. The numbers, there are many, but I'll just give you one from the headquarters.
Yes.
So that the rest, it will be shown on the screen.
Right.
From the GPH headquarters, if you call our operations room,
yes.
030
yes.
321
yes.
9120 and
okay.
030 322812. That's for the headquarters.
Okay. All right.
Tema.
Yes. Okay, so the first one,
maybe our operations room.
Yes. Okay, the numbers are there on the screen, so you can capture. Right. Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Colonel. And so this is how we'll draw the curtain on this week's edition of Our Import here on Metropolitan Television. We've been taking a look at how to tackle fraudulent car purchasing schemes at the ports. And we've been doing the discussions in the studios with Colonel Benjamin Boama, Port Security Manager, Port of Tema. We also have in the studios Mr. Francis Vanderpoy, a Senior Revenue Officer and Officer in charge of the Kotoka International Airport, KIA Car Park, and National Vehicle Task Force, Customs Division, GRA. Thank you very much for coming, sir. And also in the studios with us has been Mr. Gilbert Banasen Pobi, Revenue Officer, Operations Department, Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority. We also had a victim, Emmanuel Ango, sharing his experience with us. I would like to say big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of Our Import. And remember to watch the abridged version on GTV on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. We wish you a super week ahead, and we entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. My name is Kennedy Mona. Have a super evening.